Howdy Commanders, Echo here. Today I want to discuss the importance of protecting the middle of the map, particularly on Capture the Base mode games. The game in the background is in the Tier 6 Premium Royal Navy battleship, the Nelson. I'm divisioned up with Shadow, and he's in the Tier 6 Premium French destroyer, the Le Terrible. We're on Land of Fire. You can see here we're on the south central spawn. It is Capture the Base mode, and we are punching down. Curious to note that all but one of the enemies is in a division. 8 of 9 of them are divvied up with other members of their team. Just the Gepard, all by his lonesome, nobody to chat with on the mics. Tear for him. This is a pretty quick one, as you probably noticed by the length on the YouTube there, so don't blink or else you'll miss it. Hopefully that's not too much of a spoiler between that fact and the title of the video. So Shadow and I make a plan here, since we are the central spawn. We're just going to kind of play the middle of the map a little bit. Colorado and I kind of have a little bit of a disagreement as to who's supposed to go in front. We're both pretty slow, but I've got the better acceleration, so I'm going to take point. He slams the brakes on, lets me get in front of him. Thank you very much for that, Colorado. So I'm going to go kind of slightly west of this island that's just off the northern part of the southern spawn here, the one that Shadow is now kind of creeping around the eastern side of. That'll allow me some shooting lanes sort of north-northeast towards their base to cover the central lagoon area, as well as if their western flank kind of pushes past the midline of the map created by those two bulkier islands equidistant between the two caps. If they push through that gap, that'll also allow me shooting angles into there as well. So this is a pretty strong position from which to fight. Look at this nice tight shell grouping. The precision is pretty decent, especially when you stack marksmanship and a decently high level Cunningham on this ship. Can't be overstated, especially if you don't pick running with scissors, which is counteracting all that stuff. Problem there is a bunch of overpens, so it didn't actually end up doing a whole lot. This Miyoko is going to get away with sailing spotted, relatively broadside, only slightly angled, way too much in this game, and this is a huge problem. Battleships just can't actually punish cruisers half the time. We've hit him with 5 total shells that actually did any damage. We did get 1 ricochet there, but 5 shells so far that have actually done damage, and we've done less than 10,000 damage. In a single salvo on this Gneisenau coming up, we're going to get more than that. On a battleship that's further away, I don't know, figure that one out. If you guys can figure out the rationale behind that, let me know in the comments below. So here, we're still kind of just maintaining this position. We have slammed it in reverse. We end up probably going a little too far in reverse, but I did want to try to open up more angles on the westward flank. I could see that they were developing a stronger push over there. So I wanted to just primarily protect our base from a strong westward push. And this is kind of a good lead-in to ultimately the point of this video. You're going to see here 2 different strategies or positioning mentalities adopted by the 2 different teams here. We in the blue, over time, will develop a sort of crescent-shaped, almost arrowhead type of formation from, west to east, where we are a little more drawn back on the west, a little more forward in the center, and then a little more drawn back again on the east. Sort of a rainbow arcing shape, if you will. This is almost in direct contrast to what the Reds are going to end up doing, which we'll watch that play out. Now, the Miyoko right here, by making this turn, we could argue that he just lost the game for his team. Now, the Reds get first blood. Terrible aim / dispersion failing me there on that Miyoko. That should have been the end of him. Teammates are going to clean him up here momentarily. So that's pretty nice. Now we've been deducing here, though he's not spotted, the enemy Moss is far to the west. We've been deducing this by way of like when I have and haven't been spotted and what direction that could or could not have been coming from. It couldn't have been the Miyoko for a section, but I was still spotted. That means he had to have been far west on that western gap approach. And now we know for sure that the Gepard is out east. So this leaves both DDs on the wings. There is only 2 DDs on both teams. So this is showing us that the middle is wide open. And actually, before the Miyoko even died, Shadow was just saying, like, I'm going to go mid. I'm going to rush their base. And Miyoko got killed. Yeah, if he would have gone mid to try to, counteract Shadow, I probably would have ended up shooting him, or these battleships about a grid square to my east on the other side of the island. Hard to say. By the way, always shoot at the DDs. 13 kilometers away, and we nailed that guy with a couple of shells for over 2,000 damage. Always shoot the DDs. If you don't think you can hit him, just shoot at him anyway. So I'm trying to adopt a position here to prevent a westward flank pushing into our base. East side doesn't look that great. We've lost the cruiser and a destroyer so far. We're down 2 kills to 1. A lot of battleship weight over there on the west, but Shadow's on their base and has it a quarter capped. What, these 2 Californias, literally the slowest ships in the game, are going to come back and contest? Now we're just hemorrhaging ships. We've lost Normandy as well. Cruiser out east, Leander, is not in a good way. He's fighting 3 guys over there with little to no support. Sure, those battleships from center can shoot east, get a little bit of an L-shape crossfire into those guys, but they're probably not going to do much to the Reds out east before Leander goes down. This California is trying to make a move. He recognizes the danger. Gepard on east is also probably trying to go back to base, but it doesn't really matter. They'd already overextended and overcommitted. California's in particular. I mean, there's basically nothing they can do. If they're running a Sims gyrating drill bits build, it's over. Like, they're not going to get back in time. Base is already half capped. 90 seconds remaining. Plus, we're going to be a little bit of a thorn in the side of this California. I probably make a bit of a misplay here. That was a lot of damage, by the way. It's like 22k if memory serves. Decent shot there on the California without any citadels. That's the big 7 skill working for you right there. This was where I did a bit of a misplay. Got super lucky that I didn't get shellacked there. I mean, honestly, a California bringing most, if not all, of his turrets to bear at a single time on basically a flat broadside on a Nelson could have dev struck me or left me so low that I would have been, combat ineffective for at least a little while till I could get a heal off. We did eventually lose Leander out east. Now look at this situation. They have total map dominance. They've completely dictated the engagements out east and won them completely. Our western flank is completely collapsed, and we offer little to no resistance of them pushing to our base. But because they overcommitted to the, kind of pincer move, clamping jaw strategy, and neither of the DDs put themselves in positions to get back, we end up capping the base. And we just won the game, because there's nothing they can do about it.
We killed 1 enemy and 1.
I did no damage. Total damage, 0.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Look at those XP totals.
That is shit.
That's a pretty bad result for both teams. I mean, the top player on our team, the Normandy, didn't even get 1,000 in a 5-6 game in a win. But we pulled out the W. It looked like that game was going to go downhill for us, being down 4 kills to 1. We probably weren't going to pull it off. But we ended up pulling it off because the enemy team did not protect their middle. The battleships overcommitted to a flank push. The 2 DDs put themselves in a position where, even when they saw the base getting capped, they were too overextended. They couldn't make that push. They should have recognized that there were occasional torps coming through the middle. The Moss, who probably spawned in the middle on the red team, should have recognized, like, oh, I'm spawned middle. There's probably a DD spawn middle. Maybe I should play my spawn and try to prevent a push right up the gut. So it wasn't a great game by any stretch of the imagination. You saw there by the XP totals, but it was a W, so chalk one up for the win column. Anyway, that was just a quick example of the importance of situational and map awareness, playing your spawn and protecting your vulnerable center, especially on maps like Land of Fire that have that short, easily approached, easily ingressed midpoint or mid-section of the map. Thanks an awful lot for listening, everybody. I greatly appreciate it, and as always, stay salty, Commanders.